We are live.
Okay, I will call this meeting to order, and I know we have two members of the public. If you would introduce yourself.
Peter Shea, Democratic Party liaison.
Wayne Hale, Big Wranglers, the Piedmont Triad.
Did either of you have public comment?
I have a question.
Yes.
The Board of Elections is looking at just 10% of the absentee ballots. And,
Charlene?
That's right, yes.
yeah, and is that how are they chosen? Are they chosen randomly? Or?
Mhm.
That's my question.
Okay, thank you. Okay, before we move to approve the amendment, the minutes, I do have one correction. I try not to be picky, Charlie,
It's
because
okay.
I know you, but my name's spelled wrong.
Don't keep leaving the E off on the
Yeah.
end. I'm telling you what.
Yeah. I told the week before I told her, I said, Charlene, I said, she sent it to me and you know what? She sent this one to me and I read it quickly and did not catch that. I called them the week before, but not this week.
Which somebody who has an odd spelling like myself, you would think I would catch it, but I do apologize. Lauren.
Blame it on spell check.
That's okay. As my mom would used to say, if that's the only mistake you made today, then that's a good one. Okay.
Well, thank you. I'll take it.
Do I have a motion to approve the minutes with that correction?
So moved.
Second, or do you need a minute?
No, I wasn't at the meeting,
I
so
wasn't
I'm not
here.
gonna.
You're playing catch up. Okay.
Okay.
So, okay. So those here, there are three of us is approved. Okay. All right. At this point, we're going to review the civilian, military, and overseas absentee ballot applications and hopefully approve them.
Okay. All right. So your stats for today. So at today's meeting, you have 400 civilian, 23 military and overseas. We have 11 that are pending a cure. We have 9 that we had to spoil and resubmit new ballot packets, and those were all for witness deficiency. So either they didn't get a witness at all, or they only got one of the two, or the witness failed to do a signature portion on that. Okay.
Can you go over those numbers?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, civilian 400. That's the Yankee in me. I apologize. Military overseas is 23 total. Pending cure, we have 11. Spoiled are 9. Today, you have 42 photo ID exception forms. And then for grand totals since September 20th, for issued, civilian is 3,830. So far returned, 551. And these are going to include any that were resubmitted or resent out due to deficiencies. Military overseas mail, 238. Returned, 51. Cure letters mailed are 13. And we did receive 2 of those cure letters back, which amended those previous issues. And that was strictly the voter failed to sign section 2.
Okay.
All right. So similar to last time, what you're looking for military overseas is that they sign both pieces of paper. And if they check the box, they're getting the extension. I gave you 1 military, 2 overseas. And for the ID exception forms, we're just going to sort of do the same audit so you don't have to go through all of them because I have a feeling the number is going to progressively get bigger. So you had 42, so I pulled 4 of those. You go on that side, you just want to keep the flow.
Probably just
Okay.
better keep it flowing.
Okay. And for civilian, you had 400, so you're looking at 40.
So, I have a question. So the ID exception form, the reasonable impediment forms, so you looked at all of them and there were none of the forms had problem?
No, they were all good.
Okay.
The majority one that I've been getting is the lack of availability to a photocopier to make that photocopy for that. And if that's the case, they have to have either their NCDL number or the last 4 digits of their social. And then the other one that's been a big one has been due to illness or disability.
Yeah.
So, and then they don't require any numeric identifiers on that.
You want to give them the sheets and let them tell you which ones to
Yeah.
pull? We can
You want to give them to them?
just kind of go through and how many did you say, about 40?
40. There's 400 total.
We'll just
All right.
And they're in precinct order, so that first page will be precinct 01.
I know this sounds weird, but could we just pull like, aren't there 39 precincts?
Pull one
Pull one for me?
One
Okay.
for each and then one.
There you go.
That sounds like a
Yeah,
smarter fact.
Yeah.
Thank you.
well, just something that would be random and for the
Right.
public,
Right.
that's why, but that is a good idea right there. Thank you.
And more statistically
That's why I
valid.
get the big bucks.
And those are the ones.
What are these?
That's the photo ID section.
Oh, okay. Okay. We still don't have IDs this time? Let's
Um,
see.
Or they might not have the availability to make that photo copy. And some of these envelopes look like they have been put through the ringer. Unfortunately, they were mailed out and or mailed back during
All the rain.
the hurricane.
We did have a few people come in where the humidity had stuck, all the adhesive had stuck together and we had to reissue some envelopes and such. None of the ballots were affected, but the envelopes did stick together.
No, we'll not be able to make it to next week's absentee meeting.
Okay.
Okay. gonna be okay.
As long as we have 3 here.
Everybody else make it to
I'll
next
be here,
Tuesday's
yes, sir.
meeting.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. That's you, right?
Thank you.
It's horrible.
Yes.
Lots of notaries having a good business.
front and back of that ID. It's really on the ball.
So the new North Carolina license is up there. That's the second one. I've never seen it.
If it's vertical, it means they're under 21.
Right.
So.
For the drinking age, makes sense.
And Karen got hers, what, in June, May or
In
June?
May, yeah, May.
And so she has the old, so it's anyway, probably that's just June maybe.
Yeah,
Starting in June that has the new one.
I got one of the
Did you
new
get
ones.
one of the new ones?
The wizard tail spelled.
Got your name with the salamander.
Yeah. Wizard tail.
Lizard tail.
So the salamander
there's
is
a
the state
salamander
reptile
that's
of
got
North
a
Carolina.
tail. And
Herbivore.
Oh, I apologize.
So one of the things on the salamander, its tail spells your name like getting
You need a
increasingly
driver's
smaller.
license?
interesting.
It's got all kinds of interesting features.
And then your name,
It's
your
like
photo,
textured.
it's textured, and then it has a little bit of a metal sound to it. And then it's got holographics of your photo, like multiple
Yeah.
areas on it. It's kind of
And
cool,
your month
honestly.
and year that you're born. are on there.
Are we Harry Potter?
They got fancy on it.
It's certainly interesting. Sure, someone will find a way. But I cannot imagine it being very easy to duplicate. We'll put it that way. This one, I guess, one of the ones that was
It looks like
victim
it, yeah.
to Helene.
I can't see close up without my glasses, but I can't see far away with it.
That's exactly.
I might just get another one.
The lady's got it, you'll need her name too. That don't look like the same to me. So that's the salamander you're talking about?
Yeah, so the name actually gets spelled there through the tail if you look real close.
Good, yeah.
You can notarize your own ballot.
Isn't that something?
I think this person notarized their own ballot.
Think on me. Didn't check me.
Sharon Johnson.
Oh,
It's
What-
below
what-
it. It's below that seat. It's
Gotcha,
below that
gotcha.
name. I almost did the
Oh, the
same.
notary name below
Yeah.
the voter's name. Okay.
sorry about that.
I thought
I was
that-
ready.
when I thought that one time, I was like, oh. I used to have one. And I'm like, no, can't we do it? That's for sure.
Is that salamander supposed to be something peculiar in North Carolina, like North Carolina salamander?
I think no, it was saying
North
it's the state.
Carolina is the center of amphibian diversity worldwide, between the coast and the mountains and the Rainy Mountain, Cool Mountains, and they have a whole thing on it at the North Carolina Science Museum in Raleigh.
Oh, okay. Learn something new every day.
I think some of them have a horse instead of salamander too.
Yeah, they have all the different
It's kind of
state.
be
So
sure.
you can choose your own?
No, you have all the state, like state
Oh, I
flowers
thought you
there,
had-
the state bird is
okay.
there, whatever herbivore reptile thing they got.
Well, I thought you could choose a horse to have your name on
No.
his tail.
Some folks really want to make sure that
Yes.
that they have their ID. Let me give you three.
Is that the one that has Ohio and all? I mean, there's like three different.
Yeah, he was one of my cure letters. So what he did was the original one, he truncated the expiration date, and I had to have the full
Mhm.
expiration.
Mhm.
So he received a cure letter, and he
This one
amended
has the healthcare card too.
it. I know.
God bless you.
We've gotten,
The vote is a sacred
They are-
thing, and they're making sure.
they are
that their
making
vote
sure.
So this is what your letter looks like.
Yes. And so a cure letter is mailed if there's a deficiency on the voter's part that they can make that amendment. So in that case, his first driver's license, he truncated the very last digit of the expiration date. And that's one of the things that we look for is a valid expiration date. So we sent him out a cure letter to make the amendment, and he gave us his Ohio address, driver's license, as well as his new North Carolina driver's license. So. So now you know what I talk about when I say a cure letter goes out. That's what that is.
I'm learning things.
Like I said, the cure letters can only go out if it's in regards to a voter. The voter made an error on that. So
If the witnesses make an error or don't
sign a
sign,
copy,
it's the
the
full.
Oh,
audited,
okay.
yeah, so just the top, the whole map. Yeah. So this is the civilian overseas. and military.
got different Ohio licenses since I lived there too.
Oh, you're from Ohio?
And I'm originally from Alabama, but
Well, you just traversed the
We moved
entire
up.
United States.
I lived there mostly in Ohio, and then I also lived in Tennessee.
Oh my.
I've been around.
That was a Rolling Stone.
You running from anybody?
No, my dad he sells capital equipment to paper mills. So wherever the best business is, that's where they send it.
And then if you guys are good with the 4 ID exception forms that you spot audited, you sign this, and then what that does is when I update the new numbers, you won't have to wait for me to reprint a whole new list in regards to the civilians.
We need a motion for that. Motion that we accept your letter of the ID exemption forms.
Okay.
It has to be unanimous, right?
The agreement has a good answer.
Unanimous.
If you lived in any of those areas, it's different.
I don't know if they've really got to Knoxville or not. That's for like in Tennessee. That was for like 18 months. But yeah, so I lived there for 18 months. I lived in Ohio for combined probably about 12 years on 2 stints.
I got a cousin,
Mobile for 10.
I got a cousin in West Jefferson, we ain't heard from him in 5 days
Um,
per order. And they just had built a new home up there.
Okay, so we've approved unanimously the civilian, military, and overseas absentee ballot applications that we've reviewed, and we'll move on to the resolution regarding exterior polling place activity.
Okay, I had emailed y'all all a copy, so if you didn't get a chance to read over it, this was approved by the state board that we could use this to help, control some of that activity outside the 50-foot buffer zone at the polling sites and early voting. I do have a meeting with both party chairs on Thursday afternoon. And we're going to go over, all of the this resolution, and I'm going to give them pictures that show the buffer zones at the early voting sites.
And this is what we had discussed in connection with the I guess summer conference
right,
that we
Right,
attended.
that y'all had
that
requested.
discussed
Mhm.
this.
So if y'all
So we need to
vote on
to
this.
adopt this resolution.
Make a motion, it's accepted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I'm gonna pack, y'all can keep that copy,
Okay.
but if you'll sign this copy, I'll just pass it around.
Did that guy ever make it through the primary that you and I talked about? Yeah. Remember that?
Yes,
He made it through the primary?
yes. So.
I think that this is a good response to the concerns that were raised at
I do.
the state convention.
So what is, I'm sorry to ask for discussion after we're second, but what is the difference between what we already have in this?
Well, this just pretty much sets a standard where if they're conduct, for somebody that keeps being aggressively, not listening,
crossing the lines.
crossing the line, and she had our precinct, our site coordinator has to continuously go out there. You know, there's complaints about that person. It'll give them some warnings, and then we can ask them to leave. And before, we really didn't have the authority to ask them to, to leave. And it depends on what it is. They have the authority, the site coordinator, to call the police to step in if necessary.
Okay. They already had that though, right?
They could do that, yes.
But it's, so specifically, it's giving the,
Site coordinators and the chief judges the authority for themselves to ask them to leave.
yes.
And or
And
to,
then they contact, after that, then if it continues, they
Mhm.
contact you guys.
and then I contact the party chairs.
And then the police are contacted if all that,
Well, it just depends on, if it's
exactly what's going on.
exactly what's going on. They're not going to call the police for somebody just continuously stepping over the line. But if they're being aggressive and, voters seem concerned
Yeah.
about that, and
Complaints.
complaints about the aggression and or violence, anything like that
Mhm.
would be
So it's also precautionary in case it's worse than it was last time.
right.
Because it's gotten up to the,
Everybody's on, everybody's
Yeah.
just kind of,
It's being proactive.
right.
So,
We hope we don't have any of that.
of
But,
course.
but again, like you said, we're just being proactive.
And also it's a piece of paper with a bunch of words on it. You can be like, sir, ma'am,
Exactly.
you take this and
Yeah, we're following policy.
Right.
yeah. And
Not just
meeting,
arbitrary.
and meeting with the party chairs ahead of time to say, you need to let your candidates know this is the way it's going to be handled.
Right.
So,
And additionally to that, if the state board made some little short videos, we showed them at our precinct trainings about observers and things they can do, what they can't do, what our chief judges, what their jobs are. They're just really short, 2 or 3 little minute videos. There's like 5 of them. If y'all are interested in watching them, they're very good.
is that something that you guys could send to us?
Well, it's
Is it
on
something-
it's
Public.
YouTube. Can you send them?
Yeah, it is kind of complicated to find it through Google. Unfortunately, they have 2 channels, one of which they kind of abandoned at some point, and then the second channel is the one that they restarted, I guess, revamped it, and that's the one you want. So I can give you a direct link.
We'll get it.
That would
Through
be
your
great.
email.
That would be really good. So, okay, well, thank
Figure
you.
out what that is right now.
Okay, and the next item, it has to do with our post-election duty.
The state has just asked that we express to y'all to be available after the election as well, due to the fact there could be, election protests, things that y'all would need to be available to hear and respond to.
Would that be in addition to the dates that you've already given us?
Yes, it would be, but we won't know until
Till
it
it happens.
happens. Yeah, okay. So,
so you're talking like the week after the election, maybe
correct.
kind of don't go on vacation.
Right,
Like,
right.
do you mean-
Up until canvas, I would try to be available if we could call. Yeah.
Within 3 hours?
Well, no, I would give you a little bit more notice than that.
Is that travel time?
Yeah. Okay. I definitely give you more notice than that.
And campus is 10 days after.
It's on the 15th. It is the 15th. Now, we do have a scheduled meeting for the 14th, I believe. I don't have the,
Is that a Monday?
that's a Thursday. That's to do the provisionals and run any the ID exception forms and any absentees she gets in up until 7:30 on election day from the time we count them at 2 to.
And that's at 10 o'clock, correct?
Judson, can you look that up?
14th.
Our board
I'm sorry, I
meeting
was
dates?
looking for the observers.
I'm almost positive at 10 o'clock.
But also, depending on if ID exception forms come in for provisionals, we would need to review that probably November 7th, if anyone needs to be notified.
True, yeah,
That's a
that
new-
is something they have asked. That way, if there's ID exception forms that come in on election day, this way, if Karen has to contact the voter
Right.
after y'all have reviewed it, then that would give the voter time to come in, her time to contact the voter, give them time to come in and to correct whatever issue there that they had.
I've
But
got the
also-
schedule.
Okay,
Right
but,
here.
additionally, maybe on the 7th, if we have, this is if we have, we could probably maybe schedule that along with the sample audit count.
And that meeting is scheduled for 10 a.m.
Yeah, that's what I was about to
Okay.
say.
On the 7th?
The November 7th.
It's on the our board schedule already.
So we already
Do we
have that.
need, do we just need a quorum that day?
Yes.
And I guess that sort of responds to, I think we had it come up in the primary where we had the
The voter
ID
that-
exception,
Mhm.
and then we ended up finding out that we needed to notify them.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yes.
excellent.
That's a absentee ballot ID exception form.
No,
Or is
Or
that
provisional.
provisional?
Provisional.
And so provisional is if you vote, that's election day.
right.
If you vote provisionally on election day because you don't have the ID, because you do have one, but you didn't bring it, and you want to bring it, rather than fill out the exception
No,
form.
it depends on their situation, but if they have it, they wouldn't be filling out the ID exception form. They would
They would
just
be
bring it to
just-
us.
They would just be voting provisional.
Right.
So is it,
It's for, all right,
For an individual, again, most of the reasons are the same: disability, transportation issues, lost or stolen ID, reasons like that, that they could not get a replacement ID in time for the election.
and that's for the election day voting.
Yeah, although we do have provisionals during early voting.
Mhm.
So,
they're
We
very
might.
rare.
yeah,
we don't have-
we don't generally have maybe, 2 or 3, but it could possibly.
Because since it's not the only day they can do it, since it's not the last day, then they just generally come back
Right,
rather than do a ID exception form
correct.
at early voting
And so, like, if you went one day,
or voting
you went
provisional.
you forgot your ID at home, well, you could always leave, go get it and come back. Was some, so we have same day registrations for anyone who's not registered, but on election day, we don't. So those generally vote provisional, where during early voting, they can register and vote at the same time.
But since it's on the circumstances on election day, then that means we can only check it after the election.
Correct.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Somebody else say.
I have another question about November 7th. So if there are none of those cases, there will not be a meeting on November 7th? Okay.
But I probably won't know till November 6th.
Okay,
Okay.
that's was going to be my next question.
Yeah,
When she goes through, on election day,
Right.
she goes through all the
Yeah.
provisionals and
Because she does need to get a little bit of sleep, I guess.
well, they bring a large number in Tuesday night, so it's.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I would imagine there'll be a really large number this week. So, the next, item is a discussion about when to scan the approved absentee ballot.
okay, so we already know you won't be here next week. And also we will be setting up for early voting. A lot of us will be out of the office
Right.
getting early voting sites set up. Would y'all like to schedule, maybe we start run what's been approved on the 22nd or the 29th? Would you like to do it on the 22nd and then see how many, we get in between there and the 20, just count on starting the 22nd each week. We will run what we have up until election day.
I think that's good.
Okay, so the majority would be the 22nd. That would probably be our biggest round up until election day.
Okay. Does that make sense to everybody? We don't have to vote on that, do we? It's just
No.
agree.
And just to let y'all know, we're in the process. We've completed all of the chief judge and election day, chief judge and judge trainings, except for makeup. We did have some makeup trainings. And we are currently working on training our early voting workers. We had a class this morning, we have one tonight and 2 tomorrow. And Judson's training the early voting tabulator workers and
Yeah, I just trained the last bit of them this morning,
Yeah.
I think. Hopefully.
so we're just it's getting ready. We've got all of our department heads, IT's got our laptops ready and they're ready to get us set up. All the sites are getting prepared and
Okay. And hopefully we'll have good weather.
yes.
So here in this part of the state. So, well, I think I again speak for the board when I say thank you for all you're doing, and we have absolute trust in our board of elections here. So we appreciate you.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Do entertain a motion for
One
adjournment?
question.
Yeah.
Did Link Transit ever get back?
They have not gotten back to me
So-
again.
So
since
we've
I-
just been okay.
Yes.
All right. See how it is.
You kind of knew the
Link
answer.
Transit.
Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all.
All right.
Thank you to our observers.
Did you get the information?